Hey everybody, it's Daren Baker of dbaker Designs coming to you from the Ham Shack today. I'm going to show you how to make a really cool urban style, industrial style table. Now you'll see my breath here, it's about 32 degrees. It's the eve before New Year's Eve, having a little bit of fun, making a really cool table. Let me show you some of the things that we're going to do, what it's going to kind of look like, and what you'll need to make this table. So if you want to come over here with me, we're going to take a look at the drawing that I kind of did earlier. Whoop. There we are. So this is the table that we're doing. We're going to make it about 7 feet, 84 inches by 3 feet at its smallest, and then 4 inch at its widest. This is a conference table, so I want people to be able to sit around it and still see one another. That's why it's got that slight curve to it. Plus it kind of gives it another funky look. Now we're going to be making the tabletop out of end grain plywood, and I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. Over here, what you'll see is sort of the bottom. This is what it's going to look like with the pipes that we're going to be using. That's going to be done with a thick 1 1/4 inch plumbing pipe. And there's sort of a 3/4 view that gives you a little bit better idea. Let me pull out a little bit. The tabletop is going to be right at 1 3/4 inches thick. So let's talk about the base just really quickly first. Some of the things that you're going to need. You're going to need 4 of the base plates to do this. Now again, I'm using 1 1/4 inch pipe. So you'll have to, whatever you decide, if you decide you want to make one of these, you'll want to get the corresponding fittings to the pipe that you get. I'm going to need 6 of the T's. We're going to need 4 of these guys. This is sort of an unnecessary thing, but I'm doing it to add bulk to the very base of it. And then I'm using these for the feet. I'll come back and I'll probably attach some little felt things here so it doesn't scratch up any kind of floor. And then you're going to need 8 of these joiners, 16 screws. Now the screws really are to attach the base plate to the tabletop, the bottom of the tabletop. What I'm doing for this particular table is I'm using 4 23-inch pieces of pipe. I had those custom cut over at Home Depot. 4 16-inch pieces of pipe, again custom cut, custom threaded at Home Depot, and then a 48-inch, 1 48-inch piece of pipe. Now what you're going to be doing, this is sort of one leg with a crossbar on it, is attaching base plate. This is going to be the top. Then you've got your T here, you got your 2 joiners. This just adds a little bit of bulk to it. Now it's not all the way tightened down. Once it's tightened down, you'll just see maybe a 1/4 inch of that gap once I get it all the way tight. And I'm also going to use a Loctite glue to keep it from coming unthreaded. Then you've got your, this is your 24 or 23-inch piece of pipe here. Then you've got your 16-inch piece of pipe here with a T. You're going to put your 4-foot into this hole here, screw that into place. That's going to go across, another 16 and another T, and then it'll go back into another leg. So that's how the leg is comprised. Now stick with us, I'm going to do a couple different videos. You'll be able to see this whole process. Now end grain ply. I wanted the table to be anywhere between 1 1/2 and 2 inches thick. I'm cutting these at 1 7/8. And the reason why I'm cutting them at 1 7/8 is because I wanted to get 24 of these slats out of a sheet lengthwise of plywood. Now the blade is an 1/8 inch thick, so thus the 1 7/8. So that way I'll be able to get an even 24. Now once everything is kind of planed and sanded down, it's going to be closer to 1 3/4 inches thick. But when you put them all together, and these will all be laminated, right now they're not, and these are just sort of end cut scrap pieces to illustrate the point. Once they're laminated all together, this is the look that you're going to get. So it's going to be thick on the sides. Now once I also start cutting that slightly round piece here, where it'll start going through at an angle here, it'll make some cool funky kind of tiger stripes down the side of the table and add just a little bit more of a decorative element. And then of course I'll go and varnish over the whole top. So that's where we're at. What you're going to need to do if you're going to do it this size, a 7-foot or even a 6-foot table. Maybe you want something like this for your dining room, something kind of crazy and funky, or a big desk that's 6 foot. What you're going to need is 2 sheets of plywood. Now, what I've chosen is relatively inexpensive. I got it at Home Depot. It's the Aruka ply. This is 30 bucks a sheet, or 29 and some change, 31 and some change. I can't quite remember. Between 30 and 35 bucks a sheet at Home Depot. The reason I chose it is it's very clean on the sides. This one tends to have a few more of the knots in it than most of them that I look, but that's not going to really matter so much. But also, it's got multiple layers, whereas a lot of the other sheets that you're going to get won't have that, and it won't be quite as clean. So you can spend a little bit less, you can spend a little bit more if that's the direction you want to go, and get a nicer ply. I like this. I think this is going to be just fine for it. If there's any holes, I'll just go in and fill them. Okay, it's plywood, and we're using the end grain as the top, so we want kind of that funky pinstripe look. So as I go through and make these different stages, I'll continue to videotape this so you can see what we're doing and where it's going. So this is just the first of a handful of videos on how to make this. This is something you could probably make over the course of a weekend, all right, if you got the right tools. All you really need is a table saw, tape measure, a couple wrenches, screwdriver. You could even do it with a circular saw if you don't have a table saw. And that's about all you're going to need for this type of table. So pretty rudimentary stuff. Anyway, stick with us. Check out the other videos that are coming on this table. Look forward to seeing you soon.